Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Professional Unprofessional of 2023 as we look at the best games of 2022. I'm Calvin Atkinson, joined once again by my good friends Reese and Elliot.
Hello, everyone.
Greetings, citizens.
Never cease to surprise me, Elliot. The 2022, a year in gaming now in our past. How did we feel it went?
Well, it's bad if you were an Xbox owner.
Yeah, it was bad if you were an Xbox owner.
In all fairness, I think most years are bad if you're an Xbox owner. So it's nothing really that different.
I feel like 2023 might be the year that will change.
Well, it better be.
Yeah, actually, they really do need it to. Ellie, how would you say 2022 was as a year of gaming?
My opinion, best year of the decade so far.
I mean, here's the one I want to know is though, we agreed last year that last decade it was 2017 was the best year for gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did this outdo 2017? Because a lot of people were saying that this year felt like a sequel to 2017.
I don't know about that. But at the same time, I'll probably say it's not as good as 2017 because when I think of 2017, we had a Nier Automata, Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Persona 5, obviously.
The Xenoblade 2, there was Cuphead, Sonic Mania. It did feel like there was Game of the Year quality stuff coming out every other week. It didn't quite have that feeling in 2022.
There was definitely some titles that felt like they were like up there with the best of 2020. Sorry, with 2017, but not enough to really say was like 2017.
Yeah, I know. I feel like. Do you think that opinion would have changed if the delay hadn't happened and Tears of the Kingdom came out in November?
I don't know. Probably not, because I don't know really. Because again, we had like we had like so many great games in 2017, and we had like a decent number this year. I don't think one more would have really made an amazing difference, if I'm honest.
I do think though 2017 started off really strong and it just kept going. Like it started off really strong. Like you look at those first few months. Look at the first 3 months. The big games coming out were Pokemon Legends Arceus, Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, and Kirby. And you look at those lot and you think that's a great start to the year.
And a very strange dynamic when you compare the Nintendo ones to the other games.
Yeah. I mean, there was I mean, that being said, there wasn't too many disasters as well this year.
Well, there was one major one we all rip on.
There's two major ones, really.
Yeah.
There was two. I mean, there's another. You could say Pokemon was a disaster, but I don't think it was a disaster.
I say it was less a disaster, more disappointment.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That was the thing. It was like it's a case of this. Like you look at the other two disasters that came out this year, and it's like even if you got these fixed, these are not good. If you get Pokemon fixed, it's really good.
Yeah.
And some people have already done that on modded Switches by overclocking it.
Yeah.
And it runs a lot better.
Yeah, I've seen the overclocked Switches. But I feel like so here's one I've been meaning to ask though. Is there any games that you really liked this year that didn't get a single award off you?
Legends Arceus is one for me.
Legends Arceus is one?
No, I'll be happy with my choices all round.
Kirby, another one, I guess.
Oh yeah, Kirby's my one actually. I tried to find a place for it, I couldn't find one. And the other one,
Triangle Strategy, honestly.
Another one which I really wanted to give it an award, but I couldn't find a place for it. And it was a bit of a latecomer to this, but it is in my top 10. River City Girls 2.
All right.
I've not played that.
It's seriously good. Like put it this way, it bumped Shredder's Revenge off my top 10.
Oh really?
Because I said there was room for one of these, and I thought River City Girls 2 is just a little bit better.
Which is funny considering you were saying for a good while that you were certain Shredder's Revenge would be in the running for Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
I thought it was good. It had done quite well with. I wasn't certain. I thought it was a possibility because I thought Shredder's Revenge has done quite well with critics and a lot of those old school gamers that vote a lot in this like it. But I don't think their voices are powerful enough at the Game Awards. I feel like the Game Awards is really everyone focused on the next big thing rather than a great homage to the past.
Yeah, with the Game Awards, they're looking for a big spectacle game.
They're not looking for just something well polished.
Yeah.
Incidentally, that's the one thing Shredder's Revenge actually has over River City Girls 2. The online co-op. It's only 2 players in online co-op, 4 players offline for River City Girls 2. Shredder's Revenge, obviously, you can have 6.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
have you ever managed to play it with 5 other players?
No.
No. I haven't even played it with 1.
I have. It's so fun. Like, even if you're playing with randos, if there's 6 of you, it's so cool.
Oh, you can play with randos online?
You can play with randos online, yeah.
Oh, didn't know that.
Okay.
You just,
that's a really good feature.
It's the same with River City Girls 2. You just say, I want to play this online, you just wait for someone to join.
Didn't they try that with the Crystal Chronicles remake and it failed tremendously?
Yeah, they've actually figured out how to make it work in these 2 games. And it does work in both examples. The only issue I had with River City Girls 2 is, if you don't know the route, it's quite hard because the game doesn't pause for you to bring up the map in online mode. And I was like, where am I going? Wait, why did someone hit me? Oh, right, because I'm online. So
it's Elden Ring, but for beat-em-ups.
Pretty much, yeah. So let's move on to... let's go on to the first few awards. We're going to do a few awards. If you didn't see us last year, we're going to do a few awards at a time, and then we'll discuss it. So we're going to do 5 awards to start off. We're going to get the negative ones out of the way.
And as always, I've come up with funny names for some of them. Others I couldn't think of one in time, so I just went with the same as last year.
Okay, so start with the first award, Worst Company / Publisher. And this is in
the Ruining My Mental Health Award.
This is in terms of announcements and releases. We chose to take Bad Press out this year mainly for the Best Company Award, because no one did very well in that department. So, Elliot, we'll start with you. Who won Worst Company / Publisher?
I would just went with a safe bet. I went with Activision Blizzard.
Reese?
I went with CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red. I was going to give this to Microsoft for quite some time, but I'm going to go with Elliot. I'm going to say Activision Blizzard.
How come CD Projekt Red then? Oh, I guess we'll go into that in a bit.
Yeah, because Activision Blizzard was just a bit too obvious of a choice, and I knew one of you two would pick it.
I was going to say Microsoft because of how poor their release schedule was this year, but at least they didn't piss me off like Activision Blizzard did.
Yeah.
Worst game. Elliot?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm kidding. I'm only kidding, obviously. Sonic Frontiers. No, again, kidding. Saints Row, obviously.
Now, just for the record, Reese, you haven't. Both of us haven't played Saints Row or Babylon's Fall, and Elliot didn't play Babylon's Fall either.
Yeah.
So Reese, So Saints Row from Elliot. What did you won for you, Reese?
I went Cyberpunk at launch.
That was in 2020.
That was last year.
Was it? I thought it came out this year.
No.
I think that was last year.
No, December 2020 was the release of Cyberpunk.
It was. Oh yeah, that was 2020, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh shit. Come back to me.
I went for Various Daylife.
Oh, that I completely forgot about that one.
Biggest.
Okay, I'm back.
Yes. What have you got, Reese?
My choice is Diablo Immortal.
Oh, okay.
Yes, good choice, actually.
I'll be honest, I was half expecting you to pick Mario Strikers, or either that or Lego Star Wars.
Well, we'll go into that because it might be in a future one of these. Yeah. Biggest review mistake we made.
Oh, wait, I forgot the Game Awards.
What was it called?
The Game Awards was the MCU Phase 4 award.
Ha! Biggest review mistake we made. What's the joke name for this one, Elliot?
Calvin creating the Anime Amigos Award.
Okay, Elliot, what's your award for this?
Mine was giving too many 9s out of 10s.
Okay.
I gave out quite a lot this year.
Reese.
Mine was Cal overhyping Sonic Frontiers.
My award was similar. It's actually exactly the same as Elliot. I think I gave out too many 9 out of 10s, but in my defense, there was a lot of great games that came out this year.
There was, but I just kind of thought that games that last year I would have given like 7 or 8 out of 10. I just gave it a bit too high, honestly.
Yeah, that was agreed. Too many high scores for me. That was a thing.
Yeah, because it only appears to me who actually scores realistically out of us three.
The thing is, I'm very forgiving with games. I'm like Nitro Ed in a way. I try to find the good. I see the good in games more than I notice like a lot of the hiccups.
Yeah, I think me and Elliot are a little more forgiving than you, Reese. Let's blandest game of the year. What's the joke name for this one, Elliot?
The chewing gum that's lost its flavor award.
What one for you?
I went with Fire Emblem Three Hopes.
Reese?
I went with Sonic Frontiers.
I went for Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
And finally, most disappointing game.
The Edits the Love Life Award.
Okay, Elliot, what one for you?
I went with Sonic Frontiers.
Reese?
Sonic Frontiers.
Fire Emblem Warriors Free Hopes for me.
Okay.
So let's start with the...
I'll be honest with you. I thought with biggest disappointment, your one again would have been Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, but that's still a competent game at its core. It was just not as good as the older ones, whereas Sonic Frontiers, compared to all the hype that was built up in the big 3D open world, the zones are just bland and disappointing.
So I'm going to be the only positive voice for Sonic Frontiers today.
Pretty much,
I think so.
But
I will stand by. I think Sonic Frontiers, when it works, it is top level Sonic.
Should we just go into Sonic Frontiers then?
Let's go straight to Sonic Frontiers for.
All right. I'm gonna just. As I said, I have a paragraph for this one. I'll just read it. They won't be too long. They'll be like a minute or so.
Go ahead.
There are other games I could have picked. Lego Star Wars or Pokemon Scarlet and Violet come to mind. But the reason why I picked this one is because it has all the right ingredients to be great, amazing even, but utilizes them in ways that are either flawed or just plain wrong. Yes, the game doesn't have fully open world for you to explore, but there's no point, as you will only really find easy puzzles or platform challenges. Yes, the story and dialogue is more serious, but they're made too dreary and depressing with little to no character. Yes, you do have linear levels like you do in Colors Generations, but there are only 3 recycled themes. They don't work as well with how Sonic controls in this game, and they are way too short. My biggest complaint, however, is that it just doesn't feel like a Sonic game. The colors, the personality, the sense I'm ultimately playing a Saturday morning cartoon is missing, which is something that even the worst games in the series had, with the exception of Shadow the Hedgehog. It just doesn't feel like the game is trying to have fun with what it's got. All good games that transition to open world try to be their own thing first, and then an open world game second. Meanwhile, it feels like this game got it backwards. Overall, the best way I can describe this is with a quote from South Park. You have the heart and the soul, but you don't have the talent.
So, would you... But here's the thing, I want to ask both of you on this one. Would you support the idea of Sega saying, we want to continue down this path, we want to refine this?
Oh, definitely, yeah. There's a ton of untapped potential.
As I said, it does have the ingredients. It's just not using them right.
So it's so basically your belief is they've got all the ingredients, they've got the methodology down, but they've overcooked it.
Yeah, again, one of my biggest problems with it is the world itself. Yeah. You can explore the open world, but what will you find outside of platform challenges? So, that, like, when you take a look at games, I'm not even going to use Elden Ring as a comparison. Breath of the Wild, for example. I go in any direction in that game, I'll find something new.
So you'd like in the next one to be like townships and stuff like that?
Yeah, I like there to be like towns, side quests. Expand the linear levels a little bit. Like make them side quests from NPCs, but also have like some main ones that go on for longer.
I'd rather they go down the route of like Sonic Adventure and have less of those linear levels, but they be longer and bigger, so they stand out more. So like there's a reason why.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like, have ones that are required to do, but have them be longer. You can still have the shorter ones, but make them like a side quest. Make them like something an NPC gives you.
You know, one of my favorite...
And for the love of God, don't just recycle the Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant Zone, and Sky Sanctuary again.
So the level I want them to recycle is Emerald Coast, because it's one of my favorite opening levels in any Sonic game. It's
the ones I want them to go back to are like the city ones.
So like City Escape and...
like City Escape, the highway ones. I want to go back to those ones, because those are like some of my favorite themes.
Radical Highway's so good, yeah. What do you... Reese, you also gave it biggest disappointment. What was so disappointing about Sonic Frontiers for you?
Well, it's my main problem was with the open zone gameplay, because it was just a real lack of imagination on the biomes, because it all felt like stock assets from like a Unity engine demo.
Yeah.
I think no personality to them.
Like, I think of the platforms and the rails, and I just think that just stands out, but not in the right way. Like, it looks like it's just thrown in there with no care or reasoning.
And not that well integrated into the environment.
At least make it blend into the environments or something like that. Like, hell, do what the adventure games did, where they got all those rails and platforms, but they blended it in with the environments that you had.
Yeah.
Anyone else get the Station Square theme stuck in their head now? So
I do now, thanks.
So can I ask about one, because I don't want to stay here too long on Sonic Frontiers.
But we have Fire Emblem Warriors with you.
The Fire Emblem Warriors. It's a big disappointment for me because it's from Koei Tecmo and Omega Force up to this point are kind of like in a position of they can almost do no wrong with me. Like, I really like Age of Calamity. Persona 5 Strikers was my game of the year last year. And I thought, oh great, they're going to do what they did with Age of Calamity and Persona 5 Strikers with Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is one of my favourite Fire Emblems. And they turned out this bland nonsense where it doesn't matter what character you pick.
Shall we just move on to Blandest Game, seeing as this is my pick for it?
Yeah, it's bland game. It's also the reason why I picked it. But it's also the fact of nothing of these characters' personalities are in there. Like, there's a whole bunch of moments in this game. He's like, this moment only hits if you've played Three Houses and you've experienced that character's backstory.
Yeah, so what I was expecting from the game was I was expecting it to sort of do an alternate timeline thing, where all three houses come together to fight an evil. But in the end, even with the true ending, they just put the war on hold temporarily.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It's like,
it's basically just an abridged version. I have a paragraph here to read. I might as well not. I might as well just say it here. Yeah. It's just an abridged version of the Three Hope story, but with a more bland, but with a different and more bland protagonist.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like that. And it's also the fact that Byleth might as well not be in the game. That's how...
Oh, really?
Yeah. No matter what version of Byleth you pick, they do nothing. And I really mean nothing.
I don't know. Just make Byleth the main protagonist. So, like, this is the first time we see Byleth speak as well in one of these games.
Yeah, Byleth.
I would love to see more of that.
Well, we probably are going to get that because Byleth is one of the rings in Fire Emblem Engage.
Oh, yeah.
Incidentally, they went to go back to a previous thing. They went for male Byleth is now the canon one.
Oh, that's a shame.
Actually, I don't know. I thought it was. In that one,
in
yeah.
Engage, okay. In Engage, they've gone with male Byleth, but they've gone with female. I believe Robin or Corrin. I can't remember which one they've gone.
It's probably Corrin. I play Fire Emblem Warriors. They made male Robin and female Corrin.
I think that's what they're doing with Engage as well. So I think that suggests that going forwards, male Byleth is going to be the canon one.
One of the bigger issues with the game as well for me is mostly with the class systems.
Yeah,
and like how they strip away all characters' individuality and how they make them ultimately clones of one another.
Yeah, but it's also the fact that again you build up for those special moves and there's no real difference between them. It's like if you got an archer, it'll be that one every time. If it's a swordsman, it'll be that one every time.
The most annoying thing is as well that's also the case with the bosses. You just fight the clones of the characters you're already playing as bosses. It's shit.
Yeah, it's everything about. Let's go to Reese. What was your blandest game?
I went with Sonic Frontiers again.
Yeah, so we kind of covered what we all think about.
We already
Sonic
kind of
Frontiers.
covered that one, yeah. And yours was
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
And the reason I picked that was I was going through my list of all the games I reviewed and what I'd played in the year, and I was like, oh, I got something like that. And then I got to wait, Ghostwire Tokyo. Oh yeah, I did play that this year. God, I completely forgot about that.
I keep meaning to go back to it. I just never do.
It's a really short experience. It's like 10 to 12 hours if you're just breezing through and doing the main story. But it's just like there's nothing remarkable about Ghostwire Tokyo. It's just it's their game. I cannot believe this has come from Shinji Mikami's studio. Like, I know he's only a producer this time. He's not the director or the creator on it, but you can't believe this has come from the same studio that made Evil Within. Like, say what you think about Evil Within. Those games have...
I like Evil Within. I think that game's great.
I know, but there's some people who think who have a bit of a descending view of the first one, for example. And
I thought it was the second one that got more hate, honestly, than the first.
What I'm hearing is, what my pop culture osmosis suggested was the first one, everyone said, there's a good idea here, but it's not quite worked. And the second one was where they got it quite right. But anyway, no matter what you think of either of those games, there's something there. I don't feel like there's anything really there for Ghostwire Tokyo. It's like, it's got exactly the same problem that you guys have with Sonic Frontiers, which is the world is so bland and lifeless. Like, I'm exploring this Tokyo, but there's nothing here, and it's like all I'm doing is jumping on various rooftops.
I think some of them might have sort of ruined as the fact that you're literally the only character in that world. I feel like it would have been better if they threw in some NPCs around and stuff like that.
Like, say we went with
they basically did Fallout 76 again.
Let's try. I think that's fair enough. But let's we kind of discussed what made our review mistakes. In the year. So let's talk about the worst company and publishers. So me and Elliot both went for Activision Blizzard. I changed mine after watching Fiery Joker's video and seeing, wow, I missed a whole bunch of shit they did this year.
The main reason I'll be honest, the main reason I picked that one was because of Diablo Immortal and Overwatch 2.
Yeah, those were the two that pushed me over the edge. Diablo Immortal, because we said we were going to keep bad press out of it because no one turned out very well, so it would have meant our best category would have been a bit hypocritical. So, in terms of, then I looked at, Diablo Immortal's unforgivable, and we'll get to that in a minute for you, Reese. But, what's even worse for me is that Overwatch 2, I was never going to buy Diablo Immortal. I still choose, at this point in time, not to buy anything from Activision Blizzard.
I don't care about the game, so I wouldn't even buy Diablo 4 when it comes out.
Yeah, but that's the point. I'm not going to buy that at this point, and I'm not going to buy... and again, it's my point is, I've never said I'm boycotting Activision Blizzard because I don't typically buy Activision Blizzard games, so I'm not doing anything different. But with Overwatch 2, I got the review job for it, and I was like, okay, I will do this under the condition that I'm not allowed to spend any money on it. So I've not given Activision Blizzard any of my money. I got the free download, and you were streaming that night. I can't remember what you were. I think you were streaming Saints Row that night, and I said,
I think it was Saints Row actually. I remember the exact mission I was on.
How much of that bloody stream did you get through before I said I'm in a game of Overwatch?
I think it was like a good hour.
Yeah.
When you said you were trying to get into you actually getting in.
That wasn't even a game. That was a menu. That's how long it took me to get into a menu, and it's all down here from there. The PvE isn't here. Which was one of the big things I hyped up. There's barely any new characters. The characters are locked behind the Battle Pass, which means I can't access them because I'm not spending any money.
Fortnite Battle Pass.
Oh shit. Double check that. Yep, we're fine. Knocked to the laptop. It's just everything they did in 2020. Microsoft deserves a bit of a kicking for the fact that they couldn't get anything out, but issues happen with development. Activision Blizzard actively made their games worse this year and expected us to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I think the thing that really killed it for them with Overwatch 2 is that they closed down the service for Overwatch 1, so now I have no choice but to play that game if you want to play it.
So, can I ask you guys something?
Like hell, if you need a comparison, the servers for Splatoon 2 and 1 are still up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can play Splatoon 2. I can play Splatoon 1. In fact, a bunch of people have gone back to Splatoon 1 as for their games. But Splatoon, I don't see why you would, because Splatoon 3 is really good. It's going to...
They might not have a Switch yet.
That's
have a
true.
Wii U for some reason.
I was given the sales figures, I'd be very doubtful, but all right. Shall we talk though about this idea of the Microsoft acquisition of Activision? Like that, this could happen in 2023.
I hope it does.
Let's say presumably it does happen in that the FTC and the UK Commission both lose their cases, which I believe that's going to happen. And I'm not. Because I've looked into what the FTC is alleging about Microsoft, and their case seems quite weak. And I want to stress this: we are not Microsoft fanboys. We are all Nintendo and Sony guys.
I don't even have an Xbox.
That's the point. So
I have Game Pass, but that's on my PC.
So, and even we would say we think the FTC's case is quite weak here, and that the Microsoft acquisition should go ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
So we don't have much to like. I have an Xbox and Mo and Alec both have Game Pass. Reese has nothing to gain, and in fact he has more to lose, and even he's saying this should go ahead.
Yeah.
But
if anything, so that's Microsoft will finally, hopefully, get Activision to make more Spyro games.
But here's the thing: are you guys going to actually go back to Activision after the acquisition, or are you going to say I'm going to hold off for a bit and see what actually happens?
I'm gonna wait for him to clear house first.
I'm gonna wait to see what happens. Though again, it might change to seeing what they release. Like again, if they release a new Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, I might think, oh boy.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard for me. Like when that Crash multiplayer game comes out, it's gonna be a bit. This is gonna test my
the Crash multiplayer game is fucking easy for me to ignore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's one I'm gonna wait for reviews to see. Does anyone think it's any good? But no, but the reality is for me, I won't properly go back to Activision in any sense of the word, unless, for one thing, I know this won't be the be all end all, but if Bobby Kotick goes, like if I was in charge of Microsoft and I was in Phil Spencer's position, my first port of call would be calling up Bobby Kotick after I've made the acquisition and say, right, one of two things is about to happen. I'm either going to fire you now, and we can go to court for a couple of years and end up with nothing, or I'll give you a good severance package to fuck off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like him making money out of this, but if it gets rid of him and it gets rid of a whole bunch of the others that have, because there's obviously a lot of people to get rid of for this, I'd be happy to spend a bit of money.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of the upper management that are just causing issues for the dev teams.
Yeah, a lot of people... that's pretty much the case. It's why, like, a lot of people say, like, celebrate when bad companies go down. Just like, no, there are a bunch of innocents who are suffering with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that will lose their job. And again, when the acquisition goes through, some people will lose their jobs, no matter how positive the outcome of this is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But
anyway, I think we should talk about Reese's one. Why CD Projekt Red?
I remembered they brought back the last gen ports of Cyberpunk this year on PS4. That's what I was remembering.
Right,
and they're still a broken, buggy mess.
They're still broken. Still?
Yeah. So if you remember, they were that bad. Sony pulled the PS4 version from their store.
I thought I always seen them as like a bit more positively this year because they kind of fixed or made Cyberpunk 2077 a bit better.
Yeah, but the old versions are still completely broken. There you go. Cal's got it.
Still sealed.
Hey, you can get quite a bit from that now, actually.
It's still sealed. I swear to God, I got the PS4 version because I pre-ordered it ages ago. Forgot I pre-ordered it. Yeah. And then when I got the PC version, best fucking decision I made because it meant I could actually play the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And even then you saw issues, didn't you?
No, it was fucking impossible. It was almost impossible. I've had more restarts with that than almost anything else I've had to review. And that was
again, I am kind of tempted to go back to the game, honestly, see how fixed it is.
Yeah, especially with
maybe then I'll actually be able to. Maybe then I'll actually have fun with it.
But the thing is, with the Edge Runner, even with like the Edge Runners updates to it, and the fact that I think you can run into a couple of the characters that, well, no, I'm not going to say anything about it because I want to avoid spoilers for Edge Runners because I want people to watch it. But
AKA, stay tuned to our Anime of the Year podcast next.
Yeah,
where everyone disagrees with me on it because I think it's just alright.
Well, it's that will be.
I'll explain my reasoning for it when we get into the video. Don't worry.
We're gonna have an interesting one on next Friday, but to the point on that one is though with Cyberpunk, I said even when you get down to fixing all these bugs and all that, you're just left with a quite bland GTA clone.
Yeah,
it's.
I mean, I didn't really play much of it. I might give it a go again, see how good it is.
It's not the worst thing in the world. Like some games you can actually improve your opinion of when you go back to them. Like I've been saying on stream, I've been going back and playing the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I didn't buy a new version. I had it on PS4 way before the accusations came out, so don't call me a hypocrite. Covering my ass here. And I actually found in playing Spyro 1 when you go for 100% is a lot more enjoyable than I remembered.
Yeah, I've been seeing on Twitter you posting your new platinums for it. Yeah, so well done.
I got Spyro 1, I got Spyro 2. I'm working on Spyro 3. I've got a 60% save file at the minute.
So are you enjoying it more than Ren did when he gave up?
A little bit more than him did. I still don't like the skateboarding. The skateboarding is really bad.
In all fairness, no, I think if you're going as far as the platinum, I'd say you're really enjoying Ren. I don't think Ren even beat the first two.
I think, I did check to make sure there's no trophies that he got in his thing that I didn't do. So to be safe, I actually redid all the trophies just to be safe.
Yeah.
So, and and I've already succeeded on that with Spyro 3, so I'm waiting now. So now I just got to get all the rest of the trophies. Anyway, we're going well off topic.
Worst games.
Well, it kind of transitions into Reese's one, Diablo Immortal. Like, wow, that was a bad game.
Yeah, that's just... I actually played the first couple of chapters just to check it out. And the monetization, it's so bad and in your face constantly.
Yeah, I just heard the stuff on it, and I was just tempted to call them up going, hey, Activision, EA cool. They want their greed back.
Yeah, and of course, we all know the headlines of people spending like over $100,000 on this game, and they still can't get the best equipment.
Yeah, I think Josh Scorcher said, like, it costed someone like $16,000 just to, like, level up, just to, like, rank up once or something like that.
Yeah.
It baffles me. That this was allowed. This is based and for Diablo Immortal's been a terrible idea for years. I mean, we already saw that with the reaction of the famous "Do you guys not have phones?" conference.
BlizzCon.
Which was, I mean, the most ill-advised way to handle that shit ever. Did those guys ever get any repercussion for that shit? Because if I was their boss, I would have took them to one side and said, "What the fuck are you doing? How is that a way to respond to it?"
It's Blizzard. I doubt it.
Yeah.
It is just, and it's not even really reflects very well on how the old Diablo games went. Like the old Diablo games are still well-crafted piece of works. They are well worth if you've already bought them. So
I mean, Diablo 2's on Switch now.
Yeah, but as I say, I'm not buying anything new from unless I got it second hand. I would have. But in any case,
same. Hence why my copy of Jedi Fallen Order is second hand.
Have you got instead?
At the same time, we're gonna have to buy Jedi Survivor. Ah, shit.
Oh, have you tried the PS5 upgrade? You get a free upgrade to the PS5 version.
Yes, I have actually. It's all right. It's pretty good.
So have I. It's really good. Incidentally, the only thing I didn't like is the fact it doesn't transfer over your trophies. You got to start from scratch with that one.
Yeah, it sucks.
Same with.
Well, the trophies weren't that bad though in Fallen Order. I found.
I don't know if I'm gonna get the platinum for it. I would like to.
Okay, in any case, my worst game was, because I want to come back to Elliot's because it was the most high profile
Yeah.
crash. My worst game was Various Day Life, and we won't spend too long on this because I already ranted about it in that Nintendo Direct podcast we did in September. But wow, is this the worst one? Genuinely, I think this is the worst thing Square Enix brought out this year. And
Wow.
I think even if I had played Babylon's Fall, I'd agree with that. Oh shit, Elliot's
Nope,
gone.
Elliot's gone.
We'll see if we can get him back in a minute. Reese, you didn't play Various Day Life, did you?
No, I didn't. And our future Calvin will cut this bit from the recording while we get Elliot back.
Hang on a second. I'm just gonna.
He's just messaged us. He's having Wi-Fi issues.
Hang on a second. I'll just pause it there. Okay, Elliot's back, folks.
Hey.
So, back to Various Day Life. Elliot, you didn't play it, did you?
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, is he gone again? Oh
Well,
god.
his webcam's not moving anymore.
So we'll come back to that one in a minute because I felt like
fucking Wi-Fi issues. I don't know why it just cut out randomly. One.
Okay, now it's all sped him up again. Okay. So Elliot, you did play Various Day. I think you did play Various Day Life. You did a bit of research into it.
I didn't, but yeah, I did do a bit of research. I do know there was like a mobile game beforehand. Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's all right. Okay, you seem to be in a quite stable point at this point, Elliot, on our end. So
it's not on my end. One sec. I'll give me a sec. Actually, I'll swap to my phone.
Okay. While he's doing that, we'll go to Elliot's one, which was Saints Row. I mean, you didn't play Saints Row, did you, Reese?
No, I've only been watching Elliot's stream of it because I heard all the bad news before the game came out about the writing team and everything, and knew it was going to be a hot mess.
Yeah, no. I've heard a lot of people say. I've heard a lot of people. We're going on to Saints Row, Elliot. So you did, which was your choice. Now,
yeah.
Now, here's the thing: Saints Row is terrible in every sense of the word.
I do have something written down for this one. Shall I say it?
Well, you actually played it, so definitely.
Okay. If I had to describe this game in one word, it will be embarrassing. The story is embarrassing. There's no kind of cohesive narrative that feels like a string of events connected to one another. There's a bunch of disjointed missions with no connection and feels more like the game stolen for time. Literally, one of the final missions is going out to buy donuts.
Yeah,
and it's starring a group consisting of a guy wearing clown clothes, Jacob Black from Twilight, if it was cringe instead of racist, instead of abusive, and a girl who looks like she should be on TikTok talking about why Lord of the Rings is racist. The gameplay is embarrassing. Being a bland third-person shooter with no cover mechanics, doing nothing to make it, at the very least, try to be unique. And even then, it doesn't work half the time. The most embarrassing thing, what's most embarrassing about it is the legacy this game tarnishes. This has gone from a parody of GTA with badass characters, fun gameplay, and actually managing to be funny to the equivalent of putting a whoopee cushion on a chair and forgetting to inflate it. The bosses from the original game could have beaten the shit out of this slob, strapped them to a rocket, and blown up the moon with said rocket in the amount of time it took them to finish the first mission. Overall, this game is an absolute travesty and an embarrassment to the Saints Row name. 2 out of 10 deserves the same treatment as E.T. for Atari.
So, to go to your point, Elliot, your streams were actually made worse by the fact you had to turn on streamer mode, which cuts out all the music.
Yeah, because they decided that all the music should be fucking licensed. And it didn't bother them, and most of the time it didn't even bother to make new stuff for it.
Well, the prime example of this is me and Ren streamed The Quarry earlier this year, and that also had a streamer mode, but they actually made new music for it.
Yeah. So I just see that, I just think this game has no fucking excuse.
And the thing is, the glitches in it they're not even funny, they're just annoying.
There was one glitch that I found quite funny, which, if you remember, it was when I was using that fly suit, and my character's limbs just contorted
Oh yes,
and
that
like
one.
elongated. That was hilarious. That's
God.
like the one bit of fun I had with that game.
And the thing is, a lot of people would say, "Oh, this game was rushed, or it didn't have enough budget to it." Those are both bollocks.
Believe me, no amount of time and polish would have made this game good.
No. This game's been developed for like 6 or 7 years, and
Yeah.
clearly what's happened is they've clearly what's happened is they've had all these ideas, they've had no focus and management on it, and they've just thrown everything in there, and it's like the humor is so terrible in this game. Like
it is appalling. Oh my god, I'm not funny at all. And I want to beat these guys up. It's the dialogue just reeks of boomers going, "How would you do, fellow kids?" And just it's so terrible. Literally, the story is we can start a gang to fucking pay our student
debts. Yeah, that was
That's
the
so
dumbest.
relatable, guys. You'll love this lot. Seriously, not even making my character look like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker made it better.
So, thing I want to ask all of you guys: if we played Babylon's Fall, given that we know the bad press around that one, do we think we would have picked that over Saints Row?
No, I feel like that would have gone. I feel that would have gone blandest, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it does say a lot that Babylon's Fall is not even going to make a year of being in service.
Yeah. That is embarrassing.
Let's move on to the good awards, though. So we're going to do 4 awards for this next one. So we'll start with Best Soundtrack. Elliot, what's the joke name for this one?
The Wii Music Award.
What one for you, Elliot?
Metal Hellsinger.
Reese?
I feel like it's kind of obvious.
Reese?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I went for Metal Hellsinger.
I probably would have put that, but I've not played it. And I'm not even in a position to play it.
Have you not even listened to the soundtrack on YouTube or anything?
Only a bit of it. I've been too busy with IRL stuff.
That's fair.
Okay, best update to a game through DLC or free updates. The game does not have to come out in 2022 to win this award.
That is the Fixed with Duct Tape Award.
Your award, Elliot?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Reese?
Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak.
And my award is Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak.
I would have likely gone with that one, but I didn't play it. I did not get far enough into Monster Hunter this year to get there, sadly.
That's all right. Best multiplayer experience.
Give me a second. I can actually fucking find the bastard. Oh, the No Odd Job Award.
And your award goes to Elliot?
Splatoon 3, obviously.
Reese?
Elden Ring.
Oh, fuck, really?
I'm going for, and I agree with Elliot, Splatoon 3.
Oh, nice.
Best graphics and art, final award, best graphic and art style.
The oil painting covered in soup award.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, very topical.
Elliot, what won for you?
Had to go with Stray.
Stray, oh, interesting choice. Reese?
I went with God of War Ragnarok for mine.
I went for Live Alive.
Oh, okay.
So I think we should start with the graphics and art style, since it's the one that we were most different on. So I'm going to start with you, Elliot. Stray, interesting choice.
That game is fucking beautiful, dude.
It is.
Like, I just wandered through. Some of the most fun I had in that game was just wandering through those alleyways, looking at the robots, just seeing the subtle world building. As I just wanted, I just loved it so much.
Yeah, it's the reason I never want to go for that speedrunner trophy, because
it's why I'll never be able to actually get the platinum for it, because I just would not be able to just not wander around that place for hours. It's just so great.
I do like the fact they've gone with the... obviously, Blade Runner played a big part in the world design of...
Just that Neo Tokyo vibe in general, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's Akira, it's a bit of Akira, a bit of...
Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell, a little bit of... Especially with the fact that it's not really... I think it's more like Southeast Asian setting a lot of the time rather than Japanese some of the time.
Yeah.
Like it mixes quite a few different cultures in there, but
I love the design of everything as well. Like the robots being made of old computer parts is something I just adore that. And seeing their emotions just come up on the screens.
It is very, very creative.
Yeah.
But the one I thought you were going to give it to was the one that Reese gave it to, God of War Ragnarok, which...
Oh, that was a very close one. Any other year would have been that one.
It is a very beautiful game, God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, I was really blown away doing the animal side missions in every world.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I'm still looking for all the pieces of Asgard.
Yeah, when I think of how beautiful that game looks, I think of like the when you find the wolves and like that transition from day to night that they do. I just think, that is so good. And like all the detail from the first game, like how Fimbulwinter has just affected the world.
Yeah, and Fimbulwinter, and they actually do a very good job of turning Fimbulwinter into a really good allegory for climate change.
Yeah, and how it affects every different world differently.
Yeah, how it did it different, like the Dwarves realm, it's created that steaming effect. In Asgard, it's done a different thing entirely. It's a quite interesting idea they had there. But here's the thing though, with it being, is this the best looking PS5? Obviously, we got Stray in the mix, so Elliot's not going to agree with this. But is it the best looking PS5 game to date?
Oh, in my opinion, yeah.
If you ask me, even if we take out Stray, I'd say it's a tough competition between God of War Ragnarok and Demon's Souls Remake.
I was about to bring up Demon's Souls Remake.
Because that Demon's Souls Remake looks fucking amazing, dude.
I also want to bring up Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart as well. That game looks amazing as well.
Well, one game I wanted to bring up was Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh, yeah.
The best looking as well.
That game does look very good.
Because those robotic dinosaurs and the new ones in the new game are so creative and look amazing close up.
Actually, it's not PS5 exclusive, but probably this one as well. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's a really good looking one. But the other point with Horizon, it is interesting to see that these games that start out life as PS4 games can look really good when brought to the PS5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like spoilers, but the whole underwater section. I mean, where you're being chased, that's so good.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if the underwater is a spoiler. It was showed in the trailer.
True.
Let's go then to. How do you guys feel about my choice, Live Alive?
I think it's a pretty good choice. It sort of takes what Octopath Traveler did and adds it to like the Souls RPG.
Yeah, it still looks really good and really impressive.
Yeah.
Live.
And kind of surprised you picked that above all others. So
it's just I really love the HD 2D engine that Team Asano has developed and is making really good games with. I really love that engine, and this one feels like the pinnacle of that engine. I loved how lush they made all the environments look, and how they managed to, like, with Triangle Strategy and Octopath, they had like one kind of era to create. With this one, they had to create all different eras, and they made them all look great, and they did a great job with the 2D models, with the 3D models, like the Steel Titan King segment is so amazing in how that looks. And of course they actually got the singer of the original Dragon Ball Z opening to sing the new version of that.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's it. He's the guy who sings Go Go Steel Titan. It's the guy who did Shala Head Shala.
That's so cool. That's super cool.
In fact, I actually said if Metal Hellsinger hadn't come out, I might have given Live Alive my best soundtrack.
Oh wow.
But that being said, there's not enough new stuff here, so yeah, probably would have still said, "Nah, you know what? Probably should go to Xenoblade if it wouldn't have been that one." But
I'll be honest, if Metal Hellsinger hadn't come out, I probably would have gone with God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, a very good soundtrack actually in God of War.
Yeah. That is a fucking beautiful soundtrack, honestly.
Well, especially because we heard the main song in the Game Awards.
Oh yeah, Who's Just Blood on the Snow is a really good song. Yeah. Here's the speaking of soundtracks then. Since me and Elliot both picked the same one, Xenoblade 3, Reese.
Oh, I was super impressed with the soundtrack. It takes a lot of themes from the first two games, but does amazing new remixes of them.
Yeah, I will give it this. I admit I'm not that massive on Xenoblade. I think the game's great. It's just a me thing.
Yeah.
That game has a really great soundtrack. Like how I wrote a paragraph for best soundtrack. I mentioned how good Xenoblade 1 was in that one.
It's just the use of those handcrafted wooden flutes that they made for the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
Especially because they play such a pivotal role in the story.
Yeah.
It just really ties the narrative all together with the soundtrack.
It was that thought, though, of when Xenoblade was announced for the Game Awards, it was like, how are they going to translate this soundtrack to that orchestra? And they did a very good job of it, because we got Epic Flute Guy out of it.
Yeah.
So great. Even the vocal songs in it, I think both the vocal songs they bring up this time are both excellent songs.
Oh, definitely.
Especially considering A Step Away definitely is the perfect song for the end of Chapter 5. Those who have played it know what we're on about.
Oh, yeah.
I think the final song is the perfect choice for that ending. I have my issues with the end. I don't... See, the thing is, I don't know if I have issues with the ending or not, because I don't know how the DLC is going to play things out.
Yeah. You have issues with it currently as is.
As is. I don't know what they're going to do with the DLC. The DLC may fix my opinion of the ending, and I even said this in my review.
Well, you're not a big fan of the original ending, shall we say?
No, I'm mixed on it. I'm like, yes, this makes sense, but I also kind of wish it was a little different, and I think there's some things that we could go into in the DLC that might actually improve on this. I don't want to spoil it because I want people to play
so the DLC is not like, as an example, the extra story in Persona 5 The Royal.
We don't know yet. It could be.
Well, I mean, at the minute, it doesn't feel like that.
No, at the minute it feels...
at the minute it's just like Colosseum stuff.
Ah, right, okay.
No, not at the minute. The extra story that's coming at the end of... Not the next DLC, the DLC after. Pack 4 is going to be the next story segment. Which is significant. With incidentally, if you play the... one of the things I did like is... I don't know if this is a minor spoiler for DLC Pack 2... of Xenoblade 2. When you get the character, you get to the expansion mission to expand that class. You do get an old battle theme from one of the older games comes back, and it's really awesome to hear it again.
I guess it's like a kind of major spoilers for Bayonetta 3, but when they like bring back the old battle theme at the very end of that game.
Yeah.
It's just how awesome that is.
There's also where they do a new mix of a song from another game when you come up to a certain meeting point as well. I think Reese knows what I'm on about with that one.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. Incidentally, did you do the amiibo functionality to turn the Lucky 7 into the Monado?
No, I've not yet.
It's not worth it. I just took it back because like, this is wrong. That's Shulk's sword, not Noah's. Incidentally, let's go on to mine Elliot's one, Metal Hellsinger. Like, what a good soundtrack that was.
This was a fucking obvious choice. I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
Or at least look at our pictures.
Yeah.
We're fucking metalheads. I think that's pretty fucking obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact they're modding it because I now want to start doing some Sabaton. I got the PC version just for the modding stuff, so I can do levels with like Sabaton and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, I want to do like some fucking Children of Bodom and like just so much like really heavy stuff. But hell, I might even just go stupid and do it with Bo Burnham or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna give my cousin's boy this game because he is the one who's obsessed with you, Elliot.
Oh, Raheem.
Yeah, he's obsessed with Sabaton now.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
to such an extent, he insists every time we get in the car we play Uprising. And he just sort of sings like Warsaw City at war. Every time it's like I'm so proud.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It is a kind of tragedy that this game came out this year because there's so many fucking amazing games with soundtracks. Like, as I said, God of War Ragnarok, Xenoblade 3, Elden Ring. Hell, I'd say Sonic Frontiers has a few good songs.
Sonic Frontiers has really good ones. Can I add? I'd like to add Live Alive in the mix there. A weird one, but I don't know if you'll agree with me on it. Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
No, that game was
Yeah,
good
that was
soundtrack.
good.
Yeah.
I think the soundtrack was also underrated for. I think there's a few really underrated ones. Like both the Pokemon games had very good soundtracks.
Oh, Scott and Violet had amazing soundtracks. You could tell like Toby Fox had a part in that.
And this is my hot take opinion because a lot of people have disagreed with me on this in reviews, but Sports Story, very good soundtrack. I don't know what people are on about saying the soundtrack's not good in that one.
I've not listened to it.
Sports Story is. Have you guys played Golf Story yet?
No.
Play that one first, then go to Sports Story. They're both quite cheap. They're both very good RPGs.
How can I do that? I'm doing my second playthrough of Elden Ring. That's just not possible at this point.
I know, but incidentally, here's a tip for Sports Story because we're never going to get back onto it on this one. Second BMX challenge at Pelican Falls. It's completely optional. Don't do it under any circumstances. It took me and Joe an hour and a half to finish it.
Why?
Because it's so finicky and so... You have to do it in one perfect run. And if you make one fuck up, can't finish it. It gives you a time limit or force you back to the beginning. You make one fuck up, you're done. I actually lowered my score quite a bit just for that one challenge.
Wow.
Let's go to DLC one. So, Elliot, you definitely picked the one that everyone would have thought of, which was Mario Kart 8's.
It's the only game I played that had DLC and updates I could think of. They are fucking good DLC.
Well, the only one I can think of is
DLC.
They're really good tracks. Like 3DS Rainbow Road is great. I'm a bit more on the city courses than most people, even though they're starting to blend into one another.
I love the tour courses.
They are starting to blend in a bit to one another, though. Like Berlin and London feel very, very similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like New York and Paris, which are very clearly very different courses, both visually and design-wise. But, do you mind... the only other thing I can think you did play that did get a free update, but I don't think you played it, was Elden Ring.
Yeah, I know that game got... I know that game got, like, a PvP, but I'm not really into the PvP.
Neither am I. I tried it for the purposes of this one with my new build, and it was just like, no, fuck this. There's a reason I don't play PvP a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I need to have a very specific build in mind if I want to do PvP. Obviously build a build specifically designed for that.
Reese, what about what are your thoughts on or either of these Mario Kart 8 or Elden Ring's updates?
No, I was really impressed by the Mario Kart ones. They all look and handle fantastic. Of course, with Elden Ring, you've just got the problem in PvP of your opponent being max level and you're not.
Yeah.
Well, that's the case in all Souls games, if we're being entirely honest.
Oh no, there's a weird PvP moment I had in an Elden Ring game. After I got my solo win against Melania, which I posted to the channel. I decided I'd do what I normally do with Melania, which is after I beat it, I do a public service and start joining other people's multiplayer games to help them out. We did I jump into one, I'm like, and then I suddenly get summoned, and then there's two people fighting an invader. I was like, what the fuck have I wandered into? And so there was an invader by the store, and I actually ended up killing the invader and said, right, now can we go in and fight Melania?
Trust me, that's nothing. In my Drunk Souls playthrough, I'm currently doing the Deprived one where I'm only allowed to level up in strength. I ended up winning a PvP fight in that. I have no idea how.
I don't have idea how. You're a sadist for that.
What can I say? I'm a sadomasochist. I need to get my dick wet.
And that. Good night, everybody. Let's move on to mine and Reese's one, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which
that has been fantastic.
I've heard amazing things about it. I wish I was able to play it.
It feels like getting Monster Hunter Rise all over again.
It really does. And that new final boss, my God, what a spectacle that was.
I really, really loved everything about Sunbreak. They did a very good job. Almost like I kind of want them to go full live service.
How would you compare it to Iceborne?
I think it's better.
I prefer it.
Oh, Sunbreak.
Like, as good as Iceborne was, I think I prefer Sunbreak, which is annoying because my favorite weapons to use are like the Rathalos weapons, which is useless against most of the top level bosses in Sunbreak.
Yeah, and they've just been adding so many new monsters as well, and new variations.
They're doing a lot of like fire variations on, like Iceborne did a lot of ice variations of the typical bosses. This one's doing a lot of fire variations of them.
Yeah, because the title Sunbreak.
I really think it's why I'm a bit disappointed for people that are going to get Monster Hunter Rise on Xbox and PlayStation in a couple of weeks, and they're going to have to wait till the spring to play the Sunbreak stuff. Like, I know you can't access Sunbreak until you've beaten the main story of Fire Emblem, not Fire Emblem, Monster Hunter Rise.
Wrong
game. But in regards to that one though, you really shouldn't do Sunbreak until you've beaten the super boss of the base Monster Hunter Rise. I don't think.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. Otherwise, you will just get one shot by everything.
I definitely imagine this is an end game thing rather than like something you just jump into.
Yeah,
but Capcom has done a great new feature though. In the latest update patch, you can now bring along AI companions with you into a solo hunt.
That is quite good, yeah. But I rarely used it if I haven't, unless it was like plot mandatory.
Yeah.
But the other thing though, it's quite expensive, but it's worth it. You get your money's worth.
Oh yeah, it's easily bang for your buck, easily.
So the only other one we haven't done is
multiplayer.
Multiplayer. Actually, the thing I forgot to ask you on the soundtrack one, Elliot, what's your favourite song in Metal Hellsinger?
Don't make me choose. It's either I think my favorite is Stygia, the one that involves Arch Enemy. But the one I've been listening to the most is This Is the End, the one that involves Dark Tranquility.
My favorite is weird one. It's Soilwork, the Desolation, the one with Soilwork in it.
All right, I thought yours would be the one featuring Matt Heffy.
That was my favorite up until we got to the Soilwork level. That Matt Heffy's one is very good. I do like me some Trivium.
Trivium's that all the songs are fucking great in that. Yeah. And I'll say it again. The only problem I have with the soundtrack is that it's not available to download. Release the fucking playlist, you cowards.
Yeah, put it on Spotify at least. So the last one we got to talk about is best multiplayer experience. Me and Elliot both went for Splatoon 3. Reese went for Elden Ring. We'll start with Elden Ring on this one.
Just go watch our streams.
Yeah, I was going to say, you being Ren's crutch.
Yeah, hence the joke. Reese was the one that beat Elden Ring. We watched beat Elden Ring, not Ren.
I will also say though, he was my crutch in my fight against Commander Niall with my samurai build.
No one was. I am my own crutch.
Commander Niall, I think he's overtaken the Godskin duo for my least favorite boss in Elden Ring now.
Really?
No, fuck that. Godskin duo easily.
Yeah,
he's not even in my top 5 worst.
He is if you like doing physical attacks though, he is really difficult to deal with. And even if you like doing ranged attacks, he finds ways to be annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, with my guts build, I beat him after like a few tries, and that wasn't when I was like too over leveled, I think.
Okay, so Reese, why did you pick Elden Ring though?
I think just overall it's just extremely fun to do with friends or even randos online.
Yeah,
because the bosses are big and spectacles, so it's just really fun to do it with friends.
There is that camaraderie when you get to if you do the Malenia boss fight as a multiplayer, which I will be doing from now on every single time. I have nothing else to prove.
Yeah, the only summons I actually did during that game were the ones that either benefited side quests, like with the Alexander helping me out with the Fire Giant, or like during the Radon Festival.
Shall we? So Splatoon 3 was probably Nintendo's best multiplayer game in the entire year.
Fucking hell, that game was fantastic.
It's a good update to Splatoon 2.
Absolutely. Like, I don't think that I thought it would be difficult to top Splatoon 2. They fucking did it, and it was fantastic. Seriously.
Yeah, it is such a good game. Like, just small things like Salmon Rush is now 24/7 thing. The multiplayer modes are excellent. The only one I don't really like is the basket.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. in all fairness, though, no one fucking likes that one.
No, I do know someone who does like that one, but they shall remain nameless because they have.
Well, they are wrong. It's not Joe, is it?
No, it's someone I know from America who shall remain nameless because they haven't given me permission. I haven't got their permission to mention their name on here.
Well, they are wrong. The game. Well, they are wrong. That game sucks. It's not good.
Yeah. I will say they did a pretty good job justifying. Even though I disagree with them, I think they did a good job justifying their claims.
Like obviously, Splatfests have all been great. I love like the whole 3-way one now, so it's not like one team dominating the entire time. It could be like any of them.
Reese, I'm surprised you didn't go George Takei there then.
Oh my!
Thank you.
And obviously, my when I joined Team Blue, my team fucking decimated.
Yeah, the Pokemon one, you decimated us in that one.
I have no idea how, but somehow we just ended up fucking winning everything.
I'm glad we're on the same side for the next Splatfest.
Yeah.
But
And that does not sound suggestive at all.
Oh dear.
That one is also sexual.
The Splatoon 3, very good fun. Incidentally, I actually helped some of my colleagues with buying Switch games for their kids. So I managed to give them, and so they got some of their kids now have got Splatoon 3 because of me.
I think Splatoon 3.
Nice.
I think Splatoon 3 outside of Elden Ring is a game I've gone back to the most after the review.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a ton. It's just a ton of fun.
Because it's a lot quicker because you don't have those massive loading screens at the beginning. It is much quicker to just jump into a game. So I do occasionally just say, do you know what? I've got an hour free. Let's play some Splatoon for an hour.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our next few categories. We're gone a bit over the time that I was expecting, so we're gonna do 5 this time.
Right.
One. Oh, correction. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do 3 this time. Sorry, we can do this one. Best company / publisher. What's this one called, Elliot?
The least angry gamer award.
Okay. What's your pick?
I went with the basic bitch option. I went with Nintendo.
Reese?
Nintendo
for me as well.
Yeah.
Best
one company without too much negative PR this year.
Can I also stress that if they had not done all their bad shit, Square Enix would have won this because they had a bunch of great releases this year and great announcements.
They were the ones who released Babylon's Fall.
Yeah, I know that was the thing. Then they just Babylon's Fall and they did that stupid NFT game and they did that and it's like, why is it for every one good thing you do we got to put up with 2 fuck ups?
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially because the new boss's New Year's resolution message came out, and it's still shilling NFTs.
Yeah, stupid.
God damn it, guys. Best re-release / remaster.
The Home Alone 2 Lost in New York award.
Reese? No, Elliot, sorry. Elliot, what you
I went with Live Alive.
Reese?
I went with The Witcher 3 PS5 port.
Oh, okay.
I went for Live Alive.
I'd like to know Crisis Core was also pretty close. High up there.
Crisis Core. And I also want to add Klonoa was close for this one.
Oh, actually, in that case, Pac-Man Adventure 1 remake.
Yeah, that one was good. Pac-Man Adventure Impact, that was a good one. Best story.
The Pretentious Film Critic, aka Calvin Award.
Thank you. What's your win for this one, Elliot?
Gotta be God of War Ragnarok.
Reese?
Xenoblade 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
I went for God of War Ragnarok.
Hey.
So.
Also, actually, just quickly, should we add in one more? Because I don't know if you remember, I added this one in the biggest surprise.
Oh yes, biggest surprise.
I forgot.
Well, I got my winner actually.
AKA the Ren's Love Life Award.
So, what one for you, Elliot?
This might win my silent surprise. Power Wash Simulator.
Power Wash Simulator. I'm
not kidding. That game's absolutely fucking good.
I'm gonna go for Klonoa actually on this one.
Oh. Any last minute additions, Reese, that you can think of?
Xenoblade 3.
Yeah. So
I thought I thought the user experience by that one to be great, but okay.
no, actually, I'm gonna say change my mind. Vampire Survivor.
Oh, right, that one.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to Vampire Survivor because I went into that with minimal expectations and it blew me away.
oh, nice.
All right, nice. So,
But anyway, let's go to the one that we most agreed on: Nintendo winning best company publisher. It was very, very good. It was very, very good year for Nintendo fans.
it was a really good year
Yeah.
for Nintendo fans. Yeah, definitely.
They had they started off it felt like every month there was something great coming out for the Switch, and it looks like they're going to continue. And they were very good at communicating with people. I think the only time they weren't that great was with the summertime when they didn't really know what to do when there was no E3.
Yeah.
But even then, they managed to get their announcements out there. They got Bayonetta free announcement out. They got and look at all the games they brought out this year. Like, there's so many good Switch games. If next year is the last year, well, if 2023 is the last year for the Switch being the only Nintendo system on the market, which is starting to look like it could be that way, but we're gonna have to wait for the next Nintendo Direct to really make up our mind. What a way for it to go out!
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
definitely.
It's some good, some great.
Oh, we got 2 massive Pokemon games this year, and one of them was amazing. The other was just good.
It's also Bayonetta 3 came out. There was Splatoon 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Kirby, great game.
Yeah.
I even quite like. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I was a fan of Nintendo Switch Sports. I still jump on that occasionally.
I thought that was alright. I thought that was pretty good.
It incidentally never.
The only real downside I think for this year, we still have no idea when Advance Wars is coming out.
Yeah,
that's the issue I had.
The other ones I would say, but even the most disappointing releases weren't terrible. Like Mario Strike, the two that come to mind: Mario Strikers, Battle League, and Fire Emblem Warriors: Free Hopes. Like, I may have given it that one, and it was my most disappointing game of the year. But they're not total disasters.
Yeah, true.
I also think considering how many good indie games there were in 2022, Nintendo was a good facility for those games.
Like, hell, when it comes to consoles, Neon White was a Nintendo exclusive,
and so was Sports Story, and there was a couple of others, and they got a good one coming out. They announced that Blanc is coming next year, which looks like it's going to be in February actually, which means it's going to be a great. Yeah, really good year. Like, in terms of they obviously Nintendo did have some slip ups this year, but they probably slipped up the least out of any of the companies.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, Sony only had a couple of good releases and they didn't have great press throughout the year. Square Enix, for every good thing they did 2 bad things. I can't think of any other companies you could have really made the claim really should have won this. Maybe Atlas, but they kind of flubbed the end of the Persona 25th anniversary. Like, that was a bit of a non-celebration by the end of it.
Yeah.
So let's check in on best re-release / remaster. So me and Elliot both went for Live Alive. Reese went for what did you go for?
The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3 update. So let's go to the Witcher 3 update. What does the Witcher 3 update really bring with this re-release?
It's basically overhauling the graphics for it, the graphics engine, and it looks and runs so much better.
Yeah, I've heard it runs really good. Like, I'm seriously considering picking up a. Is it a free upgrade to get?
It is a free update. Yeah.
So just pop in your old copy you've got lying around and just give it another run through. It's so good.
I downloaded it. I've been meaning to. I'm gonna have a go on it during the weekend.
It's
a massive game.
Oh my.
Yeah. Do you think this is the last big one of these last generation games that's going to get the upgrade?
I feel like there's others that might be able to. Like, I don't think Horizon Zero Dawn has one, for example.
The only ones I think might happen is a couple of Activision Blizzard games might get the treatment on Series X after the acquisition.
Yeah.
That's the only one. That's the only one I can think might happen. But I think PlayStation, this is it.
Yeah. Because we've had all like the big games, like Spider-Man was redone, The Last of Us is redone, Uncharted were all redone.
I'm surprised the one they haven't gone to for a free upgrade is Last of Us Part 2. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet.
In all fairness, like it was like a very, very recent thing.
Yeah.
Live Alive though, for me and Elliot, that was a really great release.
I didn't play an insane amount of it. I will admit, but I did really enjoy what that was, and obviously, we're both frequent watchers of Josh Scorcher. Which, by the way, congrats on the pregnancy, you guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, from what I've seen of him talk about, it looks like they've actually added in and changed a number of story beats that have really that have actually improved it.
Yeah,
from the previous game.
I did actually play it to finish. It's kind of a one and done game. You're not going to go back and play it twice. Like, there's very little you can affect other than you can make a big effect to the final story in the Imperial China storyline.
It's not like triangle strategy or something like that, where there's like multiple different paths you can go down. Something like that.
Not really. You can slightly affect the ending depending on which characters you pick for certain things. And if you want to get the true ending, you have to recruit all the characters before the final battle.
Yeah.
Which I really recommend you do, because if you get that true ending, it's
I've seen the final boss. It looks fucking awesome.
And they really brought in the soundtrack's great. They really brought in that HD 2D style well for the game. It's the game that it reminds me the most of is that South Park Fractured But Whole. I get that. The gameplay is a lot like that. Yeah. Yeah, they South Park borrowed quite a bit from it. It's a proper one of my favorite releases of the year. To such an extent, it's probably, if we were including the remasters and re-releases, it would be in my game of the year top 5.
Yeah, all I'll say is I love it. Please give us Dragon Quest 3.
I think we'll see that soon. Oh,
I really hope. I just want more fucking Dragon Quest 2. I just really want more Dragon Quest.
Best story.
Well, if you do scratch that itch, Elliot, because go back and rewatch that amazing film we reviewed.
Oh boy, now I'll just rewatch Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai.
No, I've been playing. I've been trying to look into like what legacy Dragon Quest is on Steam, and unfortunately, Dragon Quest V isn't on there yet. I don't think.
So far, the only ones they've re-released are Dragon Quest 1 to 3, and I think they're mostly just mobile ports.
Yeah, most of them, and all the other mobile ports are still stuck there. Like, seriously, put Dragon Quest V on consoles. I want to play it.
Yeah.
For
God's sake, I'd be happy with just a port of Dragon Quest 8 or something like that.
Best story. So you and I went for Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It is a really good ending to that story.
Oh my god, I fucking love that. Yeah. Like, the story for God of War 2018 is already one of my favorite stories in gaming. That surpassed it. Like, it's not even close at this point. It was fucking beautiful, dude.
The thing that did it for me was Odin. Odin is such a good villain in this one.
Yeah, like,
such a good portrayal.
Yeah, like, absolutely. Like, because the thing is, in any other game, Odin probably would not be seen as the antagonist. He has like such that sort of sweet and yet kind of manipulative nature to him, and like it's almost to the point, and like it's one of those villains where he fully thinks that he's in the right, but obviously the ends just don't justify the means.
Which is why that ending for him is so perfect.
Yeah.
It's also the fact the way they handle the relationship between Atreus and Kratos is great. He's not in it much, but I really enjoy seeing Thor in the game.
Oh yeah,
Thor
and his family are just great. Something that really surprised me with that game is that it has enough content in it to like last another game, pretty much. It has enough story beats to like make up 2 games, yet it never feels bloated, nor does it feel rushed. Everything feels like it just weaves into one another and just goes down a really good route.
Yeah, it's those moments when Mimir is constantly saying, "Why don't we do some side quests?" You're like, no, the story's really good. I want to keep playing the story. But incidentally, if you miss out on a couple of great moments if you don't do the side quests, like the those giant glowing jellyfish things.
Yeah.
You never get those if you just stick to the main story.
Or even in the Dwarf Worlds, the first one I was to go on is the captive whale. That's an amazing side story.
Yeah, that they really thought it through with the side stories in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, just every story, just this entire game is just so good.
Can I say
Yeah.
Xenoblade 3 was definitely second place because I loved the story in Xenoblade 3.
Yeah. The only reason it picked God of War for me personally, it only picked it a little bit, is that just the amount of side content and side characters you meet and their stories.
Yeah,
That was phenomenal.
There's a lot of great side stories. A lot of people said they don't really enjoy them, but I do not get what they're on about.
Because I think as a core main story, Ragnarok is stronger, but because of the massive side cast, I do prefer Xenoblade 3.
Yeah, the downside with I would like to say Xenoblade, but I don't think I played enough of it to really justify voting for that story. Yeah. Honestly, I say Stray as a second place for me for best story.
Yeah, that's fair.
Stray is an interesting one, definitely.
Because again, Stray I just think has it does very minimal storytelling really, really well. It like gives you a good idea on what the world is like. Has really, really cool NPCs. I just think the entire thing is great.
Yeah, it's more environmental storytelling like Elden Ring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But what I like about Xenoblade's story is they actually have the side characters from different side quests interacting with one another at the later stage of the game.
Yeah. Which it helps make the whole world feel a lot more connected.
So, even though there are a couple of times where you're like, shouldn't you guys hate each other because you've been at war for several years with each other? Like,
yeah.
I mean, they do kind of play on it with the whole scene with one of my favourite parts of the game, Kite and Juniper.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Juniper's so good.
Yeah,
I am seriously considering going back and like trying Xenoblade 3 again, because again, I just didn't really like the game, like the combat, if anything else. Everything else with it was great.
If you want to just do the story, Elliot, I just turn it down to easy, because at that point, the combat is just a non-issue at that point. I don't think it's that much in normal, to be honest, because I never turned. This is the one Xenoblade game where I never really had to turn down the difficulty.
Actually, just to go on a bit, another thing I wasn't a massive fan of, and again, it's not a jab against the game at all. It's just a me thing. I wasn't massive on the super massive list of classes you can do. Super massive list of classes, because I would just much prefer if a character had one class and they keep leveling up with that. Meanwhile, because of all these classes, it just makes you think, oh, the game's just wanting me to go through all of it, to just go through all of these to try and level them up, rather than like have me master one in particular. And again, I understand that people like that, and I do know that a lot of people will enjoy that. I'm just not massive on it. It's just a me thing.
Trust me, I really like the customization of that effect.
I get why people would. I get a lot of people would. Why a lot of people would enjoy that. I just prefer the sort of streamlined class thing that a lot of games do.
Well, actually, speaking of which, we're going to move on to the next category. Best RPG.
Well, biggest surprise we need to talk about, don't we?
Oh, no, biggest surprise, yeah. So I went Vampire Survivor, you went for...
I went Power Wash Simulator.
So why Power Wash Simulator?
Because I was not expecting, because actually I have something written down about this one as well. I first heard about this game from a friend and decided to play it at his recommendation. I thought it wouldn't be that great, but gave it a go anyway. The next thing I knew, I had sunken over 20 hours into it and could not put it down. The idea of just spraying water to clean mud off houses and playgrounds doesn't sound like a very fun activity, but the satisfaction of seeing dirt get eradicated by a stream of water is strangely addicting. And when you step back and look at the progress you made at the level, it feels like a large achievement. While the levels do take a while, it's difficult to find it boring, and it's ultimately just really relaxing to chill out with while you're doing something like watching a movie or listening to a game and podcast. Yes, this game is what it says it is and nothing more. And yeah, I still think of my time with it fondly. Believe me, no one is surprised by that fact than I am.
Yeah. Actually, going back to the story one briefly, the one thing about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for me is I feel like it's the best character writing in the series. That's where they nailed it brilliantly. It's a character story. that I thought that. So don't let my thoughts on the ending get you down, because I actually do like the ending. I'm a bit mixed on it, and I want to know where is the story going after this.
Yeah, I get you.
So,
Yeah.
as for me, I went Vampire Survivor. I've sort of explained my thoughts on Vampire Survivor. I think it's
Yeah, I have heard really good things about that game. Yeah.
it's quite
Yeah.
addictive. I end up spending way longer on it than I ever want to. So next we'll do three more awards. Best RPG.
Wait your bloody turn award.
Elliot, what have you picked for this?
I think mine's obvious. I went with Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, Reese,
Xenoblade 3.
Obviously.
and Xenoblade 3 for me.
Obviously.
Best action game.
The Drunken Bar Fight Award.
Your award, Elliot.
Bayonetta 3.
Reese.
God of War Ragnarok.
Bayonetta 3.
Mm.
And finally, best indie game.
The Sketchy One Man Performance Award.
Thank God I can use the joke this year. What was your award, Elliot?
I went with Neon White, actually.
Neon White? Reese?
However, Cult of the Lamb.
I'm not surprised by that, honestly.
I went for Chained Echoes.
Oh, okay.
Very last minute release for this one, because Chained Echoes only came out like a few weeks before the podcast, this recording of this podcast. But it slowly did its job, and it's now probably my second favorite RPG of the year.
Oh, damn.
In terms of like typical RPGs, it feels like the fact that one guy did most of the development for this over 7 years amazes me, because it feels like this classic SNES early PS1 RPG that's been lost and suddenly found again. And they have this
Undertale took 3 years.
The way you do this kind of system where you got a bar at the top that's going like yellow, green, and red, and you want to keep the bar in the green because you get loads of stat boosts and it cuts the MP cost of your skills, and you don't want to get into the red because then you're vulnerable to enemy attacks, and so you have to pick and choose what kind of abilities or attacks or defenses you want to do. So it's very interesting tactically. And the storyline is really good. Like, the storyline's been really well thought out, which is not something I can say for a lot of indie RPGs. It's proper good. Like, if you're a fan of classic RPGs like Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger and the old Final Fantasies, you have to give it a go. It is so good. Like, damn near made my 5 best games of the year list.
Oh, wow.
Damn, all right.
Like, that good. That good.
What's the name of it again, Cal?
Chained Echoes.
Chained Echoes.
It's on Game Pass if you have that, so you don't have to spend any money if you got Game Pass. But I actually bought it again on Switch so I could play it over the Christmas period. And
it's another Ori situation, folks.
Oh boy!
And it was so suit being on the Switch. I did way more on the Switch than I ever did on the Xbox.
I mean, it's not really like I could talk. Despite Tunic being on Game Pass, I got it on Switch. And oh fuck, that's another one I didn't mention. Add into any of these. Tunic.
Tunic is pretty good, yeah.
That's a fucking great one.
I'll go to yours though next, because I've rambled on quite a bit about Chained Echoes. Neon White. I thought you were going to give it to Stray.
It was so fucking close, dude. Like, I love Stray. I think the game is really good. But the reason why I've been Neon White is quite simple. It's some of the most fun I've had all year. I love speeding through all those. I love speeding through those levels. I just had an absolute blast trying to figure out shortcuts on trying to get to the very end. Hell, I spent hours more on the game than I should have just getting the platinum medals. I had so much fun with it. So,
it has got a lot of very good replay value to it, definitely, with different courses.
Yeah.
And I mean, hell, Yahtzee Croshaw actually hailed this as his game of the year.
Really?
Yeah, he did. I showed you his best words on blandest games.
It does appear.
No, I don't know about his opinions because he put Saints Row in blandest rather than worst, but whatever.
I will say, if we're going to talk about Neon White, it might be coming to PS5 next year. That appears to have leaked.
So that'll be good then.
So would you get it again just to get the platinum? So you have a platinum trophy in your collection?
No, because I need a mouse and keyboard to actually be able to do it well.
Oh yeah, you played the PC version, not the Switch version, like I did.
Yeah, that's why I probably had an easier time than a lot of other people did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of people when I was playing on the train that were a bit weirded out with me going, "Oh god damn it!" When I'm
Hence why I
messed up.
don't play ragey games on the train.
Let's discuss then.
Again,
Cult of the Lamb.
I'm sorry, Stray. You were so fucking close to making it in.
Reese, you made a very good choice with Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, that's been fantastic.
Yeah, as I said, Cult of the Lamb was just a game that I played for ages, for like every morning for like a few weeks.
So, yeah, it is very addictive. Like you got the roguelike element and the village sim element.
Yeah, just be able to command your own cult is just so much fun, and then the dungeon crawling is also great.
It's like there's very little about it that doesn't work. It's very
With Cult of the Lamb, is it weird that I actually kind of preferred the raising the cult bit more than I did dungeon crawling?
Yeah,
because that's all quite fun.
Yeah, dungeon crawling is quite fun, but I just like sort of interacting with the with my cultists, building up the little camp we have, and like just all that.
Yeah, but I didn't like the fact they shat everywhere, and I had to, and it was like, oh god, how many toilets do I have to install before you stop doing that?
You need to clean them out, you know.
I know, I do, and it's like I just went through dungeon crawling. Now I'm doing this.
Let's just stop poisoning your fucking villagers.
I'm not poisoning the villagers anymore.
Have you been making sure to read the little extra bit about what you're feeding your villagers?
Yeah,
like if there's a 70% chance they'll die.
It's quite fun. It is quite fun. It is quite a fun game to play with all the different ones, and I never have the heart to change their names. I don't mind changing their appearances, but I never have the heart to change their names.
I don't even do that. I don't even change their appearances. The one thing I keep thinking is just, oh god, they're old now. They're gonna die. How many graves am I gonna have to dig? An entire corn is built up just to be their gravesite.
I don't know if you guys like it. I quite like the card game in it.
The card game's pretty fun, yeah.
Yeah. There's just so much variety in this game. It's just great.
Yeah, it really is just a lot of fun. It did not disappoint in the slightest.
Yeah, it's a good game. Best RPG. There was no surprises really on this one because went for Elden Ring, which is a very good choice for this award.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised about you two picking Xenoblade because you've been jerking it off all year.
Yeah,
especially you, Calvin.
I do really like the battle system. I love the class system. I feel like they did what Bravely Default 2 tried to do, but way better with how the class system works.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Though I think with Bravely Default, my biggest issue with that one was that the game was just incredibly fucking bland and boring.
Yeah, that is another issue with that one. I do think though, Xenoblade, they trade in the amount of places you get, the amount of different locations for bigger locations. So you get less of them, but they're a lot bigger.
Yeah,
which I actually think is a better choice to make. It's I do think they did a really good job with the battle system. It is quite a good job customizing all those different ones and leveling up all those different ones. And with the update they added, where you can just pay the money from the challenge maps to automatically give the character the other class, so you don't do that stupid thing of wandering around with a particular hero. It's probably cut off one of my biggest issues with the leveling up system.
Yeah, I think from the bits I've played with the Xenoblade games, I'd probably say 1 has my favorite story, 2 has my favorite combat, but 3 has my favorite characters. I'd probably say that's what it is.
That's a good list of things. I'd say mine is fairly similar, although I think I in some ways prefer the combat in 3 because I think 3 has the most versatile and customizable combat. I don't know what you think on that one.
I like it just like in Xenoblade 2. Like I like all the elemental stuff, and I like how you can sort of mix it up to get more powerful abilities. It's just sort of, I enjoyed that element more than I think what we got in 3, in my opinion, honestly.
2 is more user-friendly. What do you think? Which one do you think, Reese, in terms of like which one has the best customizable combat of the 3?
For me, it is 3 as well. I just love that nothing's off limits to the player. So if you can think it, you can pretty much do it combat-wise.
But have you done the Ionis's strongest side quest yet? The beating all the toughest bosses in the game?
Yes, I have.
I haven't finished that one yet because I'm still leveling up most of my characters from every time. I'm gonna finish it. I've done 2 of them. I'm gonna do the other 2
Yeah.
when the next DLC comes out, and I've got more room to level up those characters.
I like to say,
Yeah, because I made sure to do it before my review.
What about the? That's why it took so long.
Yeah.
Why? What's?
I would like to say for me for this category, a very close second, a pretty good second for me is also Legends Arceus.
Legends
Oh
Arceus
yeah,
is a good
that was
choice.
fantastic.
It's a way more traditional RPG compared to most Pokemon games. Would you guys say?
No, not really. Honestly, I say Pokemon is more like RPGs traditionally.
I mean, in terms of progression, like the way like the quest lines are given and all these side quests and stuff like that. In that sense, it feels a bit more like a traditional RPG than Pokemon, which just sets you on a path that you go down.
Yeah. I mean, as I keep saying, it's one of the best Pokemon games we've had in years, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. And there's so many quality of life updates that didn't carry over to Scarlet and Violet that we desperately needed.
Yeah, which with Scarlet and Violet, we had the auto battle thing. I would much prefer the auto catching thing, honestly.
Yeah, I think. What are you going to say, Reese?
No, I was going to say one big change that I didn't really notice until it was gone was being able to release multiple Pokemon at once.
Yeah,
Scarlet and Violet, you have to release them all individually.
I think with all fairness, with Legends Arceus, it was definitely you were definitely more likely to release Pokemon that once you have to capture multiple of the same Pokemon. Meanwhile, Scarlet and Violet, you could just catch one and release it, and then release it if you got duplicates, I guess.
I also think Legends Arceus, I'm not as keen on the art style as most people.
No, I really love the art style of Legends Arceus.
Same, and the graphics are actually better than Scarlet and Violet. It has better, more distinct texture work.
I don't deny that, but it's just like there's some things about it that rub me a little bit the wrong way. But
I mean, honestly, I would love it if we got like a second. If we got a new Legends game, like I want a Legends Kyurem. I feel like that would just be awesome.
I'll say Chained Echoes is definitely my second place for best RPG. That's how good it is. Let's talk about action games. The only one we haven't really done here.
Just what we do. One I forgot to mention Digimon Survive.
Oh yes, Digimon Survive. That's one.
I'm honestly surprised you didn't pick that one for best story, seeing how much you've been raving on about how good a story is.
Yeah, it was second place for me and in the RPG list.
What about the thing for me about Digimon Survive story is you can't get the perfect ending on your first playthrough, so that kind of annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that annoyance. Yeah.
But shall we move on to then the best action game, which you and I picked me and Elliot picked Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Reese picked God of War
I picked Ragnarok.
I think it's such a close call between these two because the combat in both of them is excellent.
Oh yeah. Absolutely! I love all the additions that God of War added, but then I love all the changes that Bayonetta 3 did outside of obviously Viola's Witch Time.
Yeah. Other than that, it was just like, damn, the gameplay in this is so good, and this is like. When you're playing, this is the one time they've absolutely really nailed Bayonetta's combat style completely.
Yeah, it has holy hell, it has the best weapons in the entire series, if you ask me.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, no, I love experimenting with the weapons. In like the other two games, it was just like I get one or two that are pretty good, and I just stuck with them. Whereas,
the only thing about the other two, with the first two, I remember being the case with Bayonetta 1. I can't remember if it was with Bayonetta 2, but you had to find records in order to unlock like new weapons, which just kind of annoy me. I prefer what Bayonetta 3 did, where I just got them automatically.
I also haven't done the fight with Rodin yet.
With Rodin, I've not.
Although I did unlock the teaser for Bayonetta Origins.
Oh, nice.
So I did do that one. I definitely did not use a video guide to find those keys. No, definitely didn't.
Which, by the way, speaking of the Bayonetta Origins thing, I might drop out of doing the review for that, mostly because I've already said I kind of want to do Have a Nice Death, which comes out like days after, and a couple days before Resident Evil 4, so...
Fine by me. So next one is...
both are just great.
Yeah, God of War Ragnarok, though. It really feels like they refined that combat from 2018.
No,
Oh, yeah.
I think the combat in 2018 was already perfect. I think they just expanded it more.
So, without giving anything away because of spoilers, what do you guys think of the minor spoiler here? You might want to skip ahead like a minute or two. What do you think of the new weapon?
Oh, the drop spear.
Okay, well now we said it, so they've already gone anyway.
I
So,
mentioned it in my review, dude.
yeah, the Dropman spear. So the Dropman spear. What do you guys think of the spear?
Oh,
it's
really?
so fun.
It's really damn good. Like I think of all the other weapons I got in other God of War games, I just think I want to go back to the Blades of Chaos. No, I use this a lot.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
found myself mixing and matching the axe, the blades, and the spear constantly.
Same.
Yeah.
I,
It's also sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it was also great being able to use it in the environment as well to
Yeah.
create shortcuts.
Some of that, the main thing I really like about it is because it kind of is sort of that link back to Kratos' Spartan origins, because he says Spartans learned to use the spear first.
and
Which is what we saw in the older PSP games where he did use a spear and shield.
Yeah, exactly.
The time when you actually get it is leads to one of the best moments in the game story wise.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's really good. So seriously, yeah, God of War Ragnarok, the combat. So I even really enjoyed kind of playing as Atreus in those segments.
Oh my god, yeah. I cannot believe how good Atreus is to play.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of bow and arrow gameplay in video games, but this one changed my mind completely. Like, wow, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, and his version of Spartan Rage was very enjoyable as well.
Yeah, I prefer doing his version. I prefer his version to Kratos's.
Yeah.
Also, I did love that moment where he tries to open the chest with his fist and it doesn't work. It's like, this is way harder than it looks. Oh shit, they crashed.
No, it was you.
It was just you who crashed.
Okay. Speaking of which, I feel like that's a good place to move on to the final ones before we get into the big one.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm the only one doing this. Best Xbox One / Series XS exclusive.
AKA the wait, it has games award.
So you guys didn't have a winner for this one?
No.
I literally just wrote no. It doesn't have games.
I did have a winner for this one. The award goes to Vampire Survivor.
Oh, didn't realize that was Xbox exclusive.
It was not. It only came to only other things that came to because we don't count PC and mobile ports for this one. It didn't come to Switch and it didn't come to PlayStation, so it is an Xbox exclusive.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was the best thing I played on Xbox all year.
Oh wow!
Like Vampire Survivor is really good. Best PS4 / PS5 exclusive.
The full fiber broadband award.
And
which was a holdover from last year.
And the winner is 3, 2, 1.
God of War
Ragnarok.
All three of us picked that one. That was so obvious.
Yep.
Obvious answer is obvious.
Best Switch exclusive.
The Wand of Gamelon award.
Elliot, what was your pick?
You'd be surprised. Mine was Splatoon 3.
Reese?
Xenoblade 3.
Xenoblade 3.
Fucking clever.
So no surprises there. And best multi-platform game.
The everyone's favorite horror award.
Your winner, Elliot?
Big surprise, Elden Ring.
Reese?
Elden Ring.
And make it free for free. It's Elden Ring for me.
Hey.
So let's go with the ones we agreed with the most on. Actually, no, let's start with Vampire Survivor. That's a really addictive game.
Start and play, so it's going to be a one-man show here.
But the thing for me about Vampire Survivor is it was the only other options really were not Forspoken. What's it? What Pentiment? Pentiment was really the only other option, and I wasn't a huge fan of that one. I was like, do I have to give it to Pentiment?
Are you forgetting about the glory that was Scorn?
Or High on Life? With the let's make loads of references. LOL, references automatically funny. And I want to say this is coming from a Rick and Morty fan, so I'm the target audience for this game, and even I didn't like it.
The downside is someone that find kind of tragic. It's apparently the game is good. It's just the dialogue that's bad.
No, the gameplay's all right, but it's just like, oh Christ, shut up. When I'm
Hence
playing.
why I'm sadly not going to be doing a stream of it. The game's not bad enough for me to care.
No, there's a moment where it basically says in the tutorial, here's how you do a double jump, and then the double jump doesn't work. It says, lol, we don't have a double jump in the game.
Like I feel like it's trying to do what Portal 2 did, where it says, okay, now try speak it. It says, press A to speak. You just jumped. Come on, try again. Nope, still jumping. Like, that was funny. That was actually funny.
But the Vampire Survivor is very good fun. Like, it's an amazingly clever idea, and it's very addictive to keep playing it. I urge you guys give it a go if it comes on a platform that you like. You will end up losing a lot more time to it than you think you're going to.
I have Game Pass.
Yeah, it is on Game Pass right now, so you can check it out. So, Ragnarok, there really was no other solution for this to win PS5.
The only other one I could think of is Horizon Forbidden West: Stray, and even then, I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I think I would have had to have picked Stray out of those two because I'm not a huge fan of Horizon. I like it, I just don't love it.
I haven't even played it.
What about you, Reese?
I would have gone Horizon over Stray.
That's fair.
Yeah, but you really like Horizon, from my recollection. The thing about it is though, Ragnarok it was such build up, and the hype paid off.
Yeah. This is the easy. Honestly, out of all the categories, this one was the easiest for me. Like, fucking hell, this game was good. Like, it's become my favorite God of War game and one of my favorite games of all time.
It's so good. It's such a good game. It's like everything about it's well thought out. The action's great. The storyline's great. The environments are much better thought out this time.
Yeah, I do have something written for it. I'm not going to say over because I'll just be repeating myself. But I'll just say the end. The thing I said at the end is I urge every PlayStation fan to give it a go, especially if you're a fan of 2018. Especially for those who defend The Last of Us Part 2. That way they can finally know what good writing looks like.
Oh.
And we're off the air for most of the Sony ponies. Goodbye, everyone.
Who the fuck cares their opinions are trash? Like the Last of Us show is hailing to have a higher budget than Game of Thrones, and they're all saying, "Oh, it's gonna be amazing." Then, spoiler. Here's a way to attract that: Rings of Power.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's enough said on that one. So let's move on to the Switch Award, which me and Reese gave it to Xenoblade. You gave it to Splatoon 3. Why did Splatoon 3 win for you, Elliot?
It was close between Splatoon 3 and Bayonetta 3, but the main reason is because, if I'm being entirely honest, I don't have that much of an inclination to go back to Bayonetta 3. My main thought is, I've played it, I've beaten it, I've had my fun with it. I still have a hankering to go back to Splatoon 3. I just think it's an incredibly well refined game. I love all the additions that they make to it, and Splatoon's one of my favorite game franchises. It's just I just think it's absolutely great.
Can I say Splatoon 3 is a great game. I really like it, but it would not have been my second choice in this category.
Really?
Yeah.
What you going with Bayonetta then?
No, Triangle Strategy.
Oh, fuck, yeah, Triangle Strategy, yeah, that's a point.
Switch exclusive still, until it gets a PC version, inevitably.
Yeah, again, my main thought is just Bayonetta 3, Triangle Strategy, they are both fun, but I feel like I'll need a break before I go back to it. I would happily play Splatoon 3 anytime.
I know it was so obvious that me and Reese were going to pick Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but it is such a good game.
Yeah, I do be a bitch, but it's not. But I don't blame you for it. Again, I have heard great things about it. It's just not for me, as I said.
It does feel like it feels like a really great Xenoblade game. I'm a huge fan of the series now, completely. And the fact that all three of these games are on one system and people can go from game to game to game feels amazing.
Yeah.
The only entry we're missing now is Xenoblade X from the Wii U.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen now, Reese.
No, I don't.
I think that was definitely. I think you really like it, but I think from what I've heard, it's kind of split on whether you like it or just think it's okay.
Which is weird because anytime I go on Twitter, loads of people are saying this is one that needs to get the port job.
Excuse me, are you forgetting about Devil's Third?
I will say, the next one probably is going to be Kid Icarus Uprising. That's probably the next port coming to Switch.
Oh, I hope so. I hope we get a new. I hope we get a new Kid Icarus game rather than just Uprising again.
Put it this way, Sakurai has very heavily hinted on his YouTube channel it's happening.
Oh, that's exciting.
Elden Ring, though. No surprise it won this one for all three of us. I'm a little surprised it won for Reese, because I remember he had a few discerning opinions about
Yeah,
it.
this is like it's like it's just an obvious answer from me. It's like Reese picking something with mixing it, or Ren picking something with oily buff men and placid on the cover.
What about
Just yeah.
I know you're the Souls expert, Elliot, so we know why.
Well, I admit I'm incredibly biased, but even then, like, this is a fucking great game.
It's got to be doing something right. Me and Reese, who are not,
Yeah.
who range from never playing these games to moderately playing these games, are also really raving about it.
Yeah.
Incidentally, what do you think, Reese? I'm going to be interested in your opinion because I thought you might pick something different for this one, given that the way your review was about Elden Ring.
Well, my review was still correct, but it was at that launch window.
Yeah, it was at launch, so they have changed and made better sense.
They've improved a lot of the issues I had in my review.
So it's a really great game to play. Like it's almost perfected the open world aspect. I think this and Breath of the Wild need to be the ones where we say this is how we're doing open worlds going forwards.
Yeah, definitely. I'd actually also throw in the Yakuza games for like smaller open worlds, like because like the Yakuza games are the worlds in those are small, but they utilize what they have really well, and that's exactly what these games do, but with a bigger setting.
I think it's why the comments that were made by those Ubisoft devs were particularly egregious.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not going to rant about them or say that they don't know nothing, because that's clearly not true. They must know a little bit to get...
No, they're just, from what I can gather, they're just trying to capture the magic they have with games like Black Flag or Far Cry 3, and are just failing constantly.
Yeah, but
even though everyone else has moved on from them.
It does feel very salty, what they said. That's the point I'm going to say. It does feel very salty, like... Guys, you shouldn't be complaining this thing. You should be saying, okay, they got this right. Let's see if we don't necessarily have the budget to do this all the time to do this. Let's see how we can take what they did and just scale it down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is the kind of thing I wish Sonic would have done. This game took what Breath of the Wild did and just made it their own. They just tried to do the best they could, and they fucking nailed it, dude.
We're going to discuss Elden Ring a little more when we do our 1 year later podcast on it. So we won't discuss it too much, but I will say it's been a real highlight of the year for me, and I've really proper enjoyed Elden Ring. Even going back and doing multiple playthroughs, like I've now finished this game in 1 year 3 times.
Yeah,
it must be doing something right if I'm constantly going back to it, and I feel like. It's amazing that it's amazing the first time when you're discovering everything, but is it going to lose that sense of greatness for traversing the world when you know where everything is and what you're doing? And it's like, no, it doesn't. It just makes it that bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's quite an interesting choice. So it's time for the big one, guys. Game of the Year.
AKA the Lord of the Rings Trilogy Award.
So
that's the best film trilogy of all time. Fight me.
We're going to list our 5 nominations and in alphabetical order, and then we're going to say what the winner is.
Okay.
So Elliot, your 5 nominations for Game of the Year are
Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Neon White, Splatoon, and Stray.
And the winner is
fucking Elden Ring. Obviously.
Elden Ring has won. Reese, your 5 nominations for Game of the Year.
Mine are Digimon Survive, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, and Xenoblade 3.
And the winner is?
Xenoblade 3.
Of course.
And my 5 nominations...
Even though you gave God of War Ragnarok a 9.9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And my pick for my nominations for Game of the Year are Bayonetta 3, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
And the winner is?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Of fucking course! Of fucking course! Big surprise. The guy has been jerking it off for the past 4 months has declared it the best of all time.
I will say, it was so close for me between God of War Elden Ring, and Xenoblade. It was the three of them, and I just decided at the end. I got a little. Xenoblade was the one that left me the most impacted by its ending. By the end,
Yeah.
and by the time I'd finished playing the game, and the time I took playing the game, and that's was the one that made me do the decision. I said, God of War has the best action, Elden Ring has the best world design and gameplay. Xenoblade has the best leveling up system, the best RPG mechanics. And it's kind of like, at the end of the day, it was like, oh my god, what am I going to pick? And I decided Xenoblade's the one that feels the most right. And that's why I picked it. Elliot, Elden Ring, good choice. I honestly thought you two might have. I must be honest, when I came into this, I thought you two were going to pick God of War Ragnarok.
No, this is I actually have something written down for this one. Obviously, I'll just say
Go ahead.
I would like to say that this was an easy choice, but it was anything but. It was a neck and neck race between this and God of War Ragnarok for a long time, and I'm still not fully convinced. I wouldn't change my mind a couple of days from now. But when I picked this game, it isn't just the world or the build options or the gameplay or my insane levels of bias. It's the sheer amount of joy I got when playing this. When I first played this game, the level of glee I felt was near insurmountable. It was a similar level of joy that I hadn't felt since I had first played Bloodborne and Persona 5. And while those levels did go down, that joy stayed with me as I kept throughout the entire playthrough. Even now, as I go through the game again, and as I try new builds and go for different endings, and maybe even at some point get the platinum trophy, I'm still feeling it. And as I said, I'm aware it's painfully obvious and it's incredibly bad, but I can't deny this is the most fun I've had with the game all year. And I'm certain that I will be, out of all these games that I've played this year, this will be the one I'll keep coming back to for years to come, or at least until a new FromSoft game comes out.
Okay, Reese, your particular reason for Xenoblade 3?
It just encapsulates everything amazing with not just that series, but gaming as a whole to me. And while God of War, I gave a higher score because it had better technical aspects, overall, the impact that Xenoblade 3 left on me was just far greater.
I feel like for me that that's a similar thing for me. I said this on stream last night, but I'll say it again. It's kind of like the fizz. You know, that one thing you don't quite know why. You know, there's loads of technical reasons why it shouldn't be your favorite, but it just is. And I would you say to a certain extent you got that with Elden Ring, Elliot? Does that a sense of you sort of can point to loads of technical reasons, but you can also point to technical reasons why other things are better, but you just think, now this one's my favorite for this.
Yeah, exactly. As I just said, this is I just don't feel like I've played or have an experience like that this entire year when I was playing through it.
Can I just ask, out of your 5 nominations, what would have been your second place?
God of War Ragnarok, easily.
Reese?
Ragnarok.
And Ragnarok for me, that was my second place.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We all had Ragnarok as our second place.
That game is so fucking good. Like, it has a perfect story. The gameplay is fantastic. It looks amazing. As I said, barely missed out.
I do love this game.
Like, both games are in my top 5 of all time. That I would say that much.
It's I will say Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for me as well also had the joy, just pure joy I felt going through it. Like, just doing the side quests as well. That's what I think both these games have in common. The side stuff is just excellent to do.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I for my last playthrough, I finally got around to doing Rani's quest line, and that was one of the most enjoyable times I had.
Oh, dude, Rani's quest line was so fucking good.
Even though I hated killing Blade.
Everyone does. He's such a good boy. He's like the best character in that entire game.
Though I will admit, his armor came in quite handy for some of the later stage bosses.
I had to. I was doing a guts run. I had to take his armor. Just like that was entirely based off Guts' armor.
Also, it does feel kind of interesting that the same voice actress is in both of the winners.
Yeah.
Because what's her name again? Hang on, I'll get it up now.
I will admit, I do prefer her in. I do kind of prefer her as Rani. Again, bias. I just think her voice work was a little bit better in that one. Even I think, but though she did get more lines in as Mio in Xenoblade.
It's
I think that's probably the main reason why that was what she was nominated for at the Game Awards.
Amy Fionn Edwards, that's her name. But but man, she nails both of them. They're very different roles, but she nails both of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially given the script jobs for Xenoblade 3 was massive, because she was basically the main girl.
Yeah. What I found interesting though is with when I went back to play Elden Ring from a recent playthrough, I just was hearing like Mio doing an emo voice the entire time I was with Rani. Just like, well, she really got no spoilers, no spoilers. So that rounded it off brilliantly. I mean, some excellent. And the thing is, I think both of our games, both Xenoblade and Elden Ring, I think will get substantial DLC in 2023. I mean, we do know for certain that's happening with Xenoblade. We don't know for certain that's going to happen with Elden Ring. It's.
I really hope we do, because the reason why I don't think we got that in Sekiro is because Sekiro is definitely more story based, and it wouldn't really be much of a chance to really put it in that game. With Elden Ring, there's definitely a lot of room for DLC.
I think so as well. Oh yeah. It's going to be. Do they definitely want to do it, or do they want to get Armored Core 6 out the door?
I feel like it's. Do you think it's like different teams working on both those games?
I do think it's different teams working on them. Yeah, and I think you can have a smaller team working on the DLC for Elden Ring. But that's it for our 2022 podcast. We'll be obviously we've got stay tuned to the channel because next Friday we got Anime Amigos doing our Anime of the Year podcast.
Yeah.
Two big ones in a row, goddamn.
And we're going to be in... And of course, we're back in February with Elden Ring 1 year later, if we don't have a Nintendo Direct podcast to discuss.
Yep, and we'll be having a special guest joining the three of us.
Yep, Ren's coming on board Professionally Unprofessional for the first time.
Hey, good boys coming here.
So, thank you very much for joining us, guys. We'll speak to you really soon. Goodbye, folks.
Take care, y'all.
Goodbye, everyone.